Dear Scary Stories NYC, in the summer of 2021, my girlfriend and I decided to drive from Michigan down to Florida to visit some relatives and decided if we wanted to move south and east in search of freedom. Along the way, Denise and I had our one and only Dogman experience of either of our lives, and even though we're both Michigan natives, we did not see the Michigan Dogman. The upright walking werewolf that we ran into was somewhere in the middle of Pennsylvania, believe it or not. Since this happened to us, we become aware that a whole lot of strange stuff happens in PA. Now you can add our story to the long list. As you know, I wanted to give you our real names, but my girlfriend still thinks that somehow this could hurt her career or something. I'm not even going to tell you what she does for a living, but it would probably help her career to go public about this, if anything. So we'll call her Denise, and we'll keep it anonymous, but the rest of what I'm telling you is the best I can remember it. So, to me, Pennsylvania was just a shape drawn on the map, same as the other states between Michigan and Florida. They were things we would pass along the way to the promised land. I didn't know the differences between these states, and I didn't know if there were differences between them. When Denise was driving, she would take the most major roads on her phone app, and she was getting really stressed out with the traffic and the hostile, impatient drivers. By the time we got through Ohio and over by Pittsburgh, I had started taking little two-lane highways through the woods when it was my turn to drive. Soon, we were both looking for out-of-the-way backwoods roads to take on our path to salvation, and we discovered that our stressful trek was turning into an exciting adventure. We were beginning to feel as though we were actually seeing some of the places we were passing through, and that we were noticing and recognizing the minute differences between each location. We decided we didn't mind if it took a little longer to get there, as we were genuinely enjoying at least some of what we were living through. And so we found ourselves on Route 31 in western PA. Our plan was to pass through just that southwestern tip of Pennsylvania, on past the tip of West Virginia, into Maryland, and then south until we got past Georgia, into Florida and freedom. It was around when we were near State Game Lands number 50 that our experience occurred. So there was no traffic on the road at all that evening, and we were in a very relaxed state. I was driving under the speed limit, taking my time, and Denise had her feet hanging outside the side window, which was wide open. Her hat was over the rear view mirror on that side, as neither of us thought I'd have any use for it on that very warm evening. We drove down the two-lane empty highway, packed tight on both sides with forests, and the entire thing felt like our own backyard. In that moment, we felt like millionaires or billionaires. It was as though all of this belonged to us. And then in that next instant, the creature was there. It must have come out of the woods on my blind side. He must have approached while my rear view mirror on that side was covered, and while all my attention was on my beautiful girlfriend being lazy in the hot leather seat next to me. It went from the most languid, relaxing evening ever to an intense moment of very real stress in the next. My heart was beating hard before I even understood what was going on. I was looking at my gorgeous girlfriend. I was looking at her legs hanging out the window, and I was feeling in heaven. And then there was this big old dog-faced human male outside the car, and the very first thing I saw the big old fool do was to snap at my girlfriend's toes as though they were the chicken McNuggies on the dollar menu. Have you ever seen a dog lift its lips back and pick up some food in its teeth? That was the way this beast was delicately snapping at Denise's toes. It was like he was dining on delicacies, or attempting to. She pulled both her feet into the car, leaving her in an awkward position with her knees up in the air by my head, and her butt up in the air for the dogman's viewing pleasure. The dog-headed man grew bold and reached its snarling, nasty head into the opened window, snapping at places only I have permission to snap at, and I saw Denise do a classic move, worthy of a feature film in my opinion. She just kicked down with both her legs at once, and I'm not sure if she hit that dogman in the face or only caused him to back out fast, but in either case, he was whimpering, and she was finally able to right herself normally and roll up her window. That, in turn, allowed me to hit the gas and put some distance between us and that dogman. Since the altercation with the dogman had knocked Denise's hat out onto the side of the road behind us somewhere, I was able to see the tall, dog-faced figure had already regrouped and was now running after us on the road. "Lock the doors and hold on," I shouted as I floored the pedal, watching the beast man maintain the same distance behind us in my mirrors. It was probably at this point in the event when I got the best look at him, although admittedly I was watching him in reverse in my mirrors. Now, there were similarities in the face to the dogman you use on so many of your thumbnails. The face and the tall ears were not too far off from your model that you use. The differences start under the chin. Okay, you remember Lassie from TV or old movies? This creature had a white-haired chest that puffed out like Lassie. It was not thinly furred or mangy looking like the werewolf model you use for many of your shows. So imagine that same model, but the belly and chest were covered in thick white fur. You can't directly see the chest and belly musculature, but you can still tell that they're there. The back, arms, head, and legs were all a dark color. I don't remember it being brown, but I don't remember it being any of the other shades you show in your thumbnails either. Maybe it was a different shade of gray or brown, or maybe it mixed them together, but my memory is not jogged by any Dogman photos I'm seeing. It had a dark back and a white underbelly. That much I can be certain of. The way it ran was very much like how we run, even though its equipment looked so different. The legs looked like dog legs, but he was able to move in much the same way that we do when we run. It even pumped its arms and fists the way we do. And yes, I did see the animal's paws bunched into the equivalent of fists. There were multiple examples of apparent parallel evolution to both human and canine species. I really have no idea what that creature was made of. If someone was able to secure DNA from one of those, I really wonder what the scientists would find when examining it. Even though I lived through this close encounter, I have no idea what Denise and I were closely encountering. Once we were driving away, I felt the incident was over. I was watching him in my mirrors, assuming those would be the last few seconds I would get to witness the dogman. But then, it didn't lose ground on us. It seemed to be able to keep pace. I dropped my foot down hard and accelerated, and the dogman then dropped his feet down hard too, as in his front feet, which up till then he had been using more as arms than legs. Once that creature was running in a quadrupedal fashion. It was hard to tell how it could have ever been bipedal. It looked as smooth on all fours as it had upright, only when it was down on all fours, it seemed to be able to run even faster. I kept it at the speed limit for a minute, and that dogman kept pace. Don't tell anyone, but we went up over the legal limit before we saw that canine man begin to fall back. We had to drive at nearly 70 for over a full minute before we gained any serious ground on that thing. We never really did race away from it. Some traffic came from the opposite direction, and that seemed to spook the dog off into the woods, leaving us alone again on that highway in the middle of nowhere. So that was the end of us searching out scenic back roads for the rest of our trip to Freedom Land. We kept to the busy roads, and when we were stuck in traffic, we enjoyed the fact that we knew that Dogman is afraid of traffic. Dogman runs away from traffic. That means traffic is our friend. And the exhaust fumes we breathe while in traffic, those are the exhaust fumes of freedom. Those were the lessons we learned on our way to Florida when Dogman nipped at my girlfriend's toes. I thought this guy was a troll till he flashed us his bankroll. Please welcome newest PayPal member Sean Saunders, who made this episode possible. We still can't tell if he's trolling us, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Mr. S gets to see all our dozens of hours of scary uncensored archived Dogman stories plus a new one each Sunday night. And you can see them all too. Here's international TV spokesmongrel Henry Lee Dogman to explain all the details. Hank? Thanks for watching till the end. If you liked what you saw, please consider clicking like on the video or sharing it with your friends and family that you think might also be interested. If you would like to see more of our work, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that YouTube will alert you when we put out a new video. To become a channel member and gain access to our special perks, you can click that join link under each of our videos. Another option is to join our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. You can join for as little as 99 cents on YouTube or $1.50 at peterbernard.com, and that gains you access to our weekly secret uncensored episodes. If you'd like to see our 21 hours of archives of uncensored Dogman stories, then please join at the $3 level or above. To get to watch our shows in advance of the public, please join at our $10 level. That gets you all the perks. If you join our channel memberships, you need to check our community page here on YouTube in order to get the links to the secret videos and other perks. If you're in the PayPal subscribers club, Peter will email you all the news and links himself. Once joining the PayPal club, which is Peter's homemade club, please give him a chance to see that you've joined and to compose you a personal welcome email, as none of that is automated. But whichever you join, we'll name you an executive producer for the next available episode. Do you have a scary experience that you'd like to share with us? You can email us at scarystoriesnyc@gmail.com or call our Scary Stories voicemail hotline at 804-LA-SCARY. That's 804-537-2279. It's a Google voicemail box, so that means it keeps cutting off after every 3 minutes. If your story is longer than that, please keep calling back and we can piece it together on our end. Good night, and have a scary tomorrow.
Come back for more scary stories.